Want to turn your passion for drawing into a full-time career? Discover our courses at Brushcamp where you become a master in the realm of digital painting. Brushcamp offers tons of similar courses in illustration, 2D, 3D design. Level up your creativity with free knowledge and courses. Visit brushcamp.com today and explore endless possibilities.
Hello everyone, welcome to the lesson 2. In this lesson, we'll learn about the two tools, selection tool and direct selection tool. The first is selection tool. Its shortcut is the letter V. And here is a table showing you how to use that tool. When you select an object with the selection tool, it will show a bounding box around. A bounding box. Here too, in this bounding box, it will display as a rectangle or square, and it has 8 points around. These 3 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, minus 8. It's 8 points. As you can see, these 8 small square points around have the function to help you zoom in and out in many directions you choose. These 4 points will let you scale the image in one direction. In the only direction and its center in the opposite direction. When you scale this point, its center will be here. As you can see, if this point, then its mind will be here. What about in this corner? In this corner it will scale in 2 directions. Can you see it? It scales in both directions, and its center is also in the opposite direction. Its zoom center is also in the opposite direction. After you have done a certain step, and want to go back to the beginning, press Ctrl+C. Press Ctrl+C to go back to your first circle. We have 2 objects. When we select 2 objects, hold the mouse and sweep over the 2 objects. It will select 2 objects and the bounding box will also appear. And it will appear as it wraps around those 2 objects. And it's in the form of a square or a rectangle. This one you can zoom in and zoom out as usual. You can even rotate it. In this corner or any corner. When you move computer mouse to that corner, and remember don't click here, because when you click on it, it will become a scale symbol, and here you can rotate it. And where does it rotate? It will rotate at the center of that object. If you want to know the center of the symmetrical objects that you draw, symmetrical shapes like circle, square, rectangle, or triangle, then it will show the center of that object. If you want to see the center of it, move the mouse over the image. As you can see, it will show center. I'll talk about some command buttons when we zoom in and zoom out. We scaled this edge up. When you want to zoom out but don't want to be distorted. For example, you want it to be a circle. When you zoom out and it's deviate a little bit. For example, it slightly deviates and you have no way to adjust it to a circle. It has a command button that when you hold shift and zoom, scale the image. It will keep the aspect ratio. If it's a circle, it's still a circle and a square is still a square. It won't be distorted. Even 2 or 3 objects when you press shift. It will not change the ratio. When you use Alt key, as you can see, it will zoom out from the center. From its center point and it will zoom up. It will zoom up from its center, but if you don't press it, it will zoom up and its center is in the opposite direction. And when you press the Alt key, it will zoom up from its center. When you want it to be bigger and keep the proportions, then you hold the Alt key and the Shift key. You can zoom the image. Keep the ratio and it even enlarges from its center. click Alt and Shift. This also. When you want to multiply an object, to double and triple, press the Alt key. You multiply it. Hold down the Alt key and drag the object. OK. When you want to multiply and go in a straight line, press Alt and Shift. Drag the object. Drag and drop objects. Drag and drop objects. When you want to move an object vertically or horizontally, or 45-degree angle, 45 degrees, you should hold down the Shift key to make it go straight. Or go in the horizontal direction, in the direction of 45 degrees. It's a combo command to serve you in moving it more aligned. The next, when you have a group objects. For example, we put here a group of objects and we want to multiply it. I want this it's green. This blue is a bit awful, I'll choose red. Here we have an object group with 3 images. Here are 3 images and we want them to be a group, to go together. But here we can only select individual objects. If you want it to be a group, scan it to run through those 3 objects. You right-click and select Group. You can go to Object and choose Group, or its shortcut is Ctrl+G. You should remember keyboard shortcuts for faster operation. Group's shortcut is Z. Press Ctrl+C. It has grouped together. I have this object group and want it to move to the left a little bit. It has been grouped together. If you want to move it, you have to click Ungroup. For Ungroup, right-click and select Ungroup. Or you go to Object and choose Ungroup. And its shortcut is Shift plus Ctrl+C. Press Shift and Ctrl+C to ungroup it. You edit it through and then select Group. Ctrl+C again. It will take more operations and take a small amount of time. When you do big job, it will take a lot of time. To save more time, you can right-click and select Isolate Selected Group. When entering this mode, it only has this group of objects. In this group, you can move it anywhere. When you're done, click on this bar. Tap the gray bar. It's still in the group and you don't need to waste time having to press Group and Ungroup again. It will take a lot of time. To make it even simpler and more concise, you can do it by double-clicking on it. This is a group, right? You double-click on it. It's already entered this Isolate Select Group mode. And you move it and still adjust as usual. After you have finished editing, click here. And out of that mode, it's still a normal group. You can double-click on it. That's all I want to say about this selection tool. We will continue with the second tool. Direct Selection Tool. Its shortcut key is the letter. The shortcut is the letter. When you use this tool, you select an object. It will show all the points that constitute that object. As for how it is composed, I will explain it in the pen tool lesson. If you select an object, it will show the points that are used to form that object. A triangle is constituted of 3 points. The quadrilateral is constituted of 4 points. The circle is similar. It is constituted of 4 points. When you select any point, click on this point. When you move, it will transform the structure of that object. It will transform the structure of that object. Or if you select an edge, it will also switch to that edge. The Direct Selection tool will interfere with the structure of an object. The way to choose that is you can select it directly. When you select one point, it will be blue and the unselected points will be white. Can you see it? For instance, you can select it directly or swipe to select it. Like this. For example, if you want to select 2 points, just press Shift, select one more point and move it. Press Shift and select a point to move it. If you do not want to select this point anymore, you also hold Shift to remove it. That is the function of the Direct Selection tool. The Direct Selection tool can also interfere with groups. Do you remember that we originally had a group? Now we'll switch back to the Selection tool. If you want to move this picture, you have to click in Group. You can move it. For the Direct Selection tool, you don't have to ungroup, but you can still move it and not break it. It's still a group. You can still move it. When I switch back to the Selection tool, it's still a group. Then we choose this. It can directly move the objects in here without having to ungroup. That is the function of the Direct Selection tool. In this lesson, we have understood the functions of the two tools, Selection tool and Direct Selection tool. We'll continue to explore other tools in the next lesson. Thank you and goodbye everyone.
Please like and subscribe to our channel.